My name is Dave Sullivan, and in my volunteer time, I work on affordable housing, mass transit, and trying to preserve our live music and art culture here. Human rights need to be protected. And human rights extend to all kinds of people, and Texas has a tradition of only helping people that look like me with shorter hair and a shorter beard. But the point is, privileged, white, straight, Christian males have run roughshod over everybody else. And Progress Texas, along with some other groups like the ACLU and whatnot, help to promote equity and diversity and boosting up people that have been trod upon in the past.
It's Monday, May 5th, 2025, and this is the Progress Texas Daily Dispatch, rapid response on the breaking news stories Texas progressives need to know. I'm Chris Mosier. A strange sensation crept across all of progressive Texas on Sunday, and that was the unfamiliar sensation of victory. Democrats and progressives won elections all over the Lone Star State this weekend, and here are a few notes. Bud Kennedy at the Fort Worth Star-Telegram, trolling Tarrant County Republican Party Chair Beau French on Twitter, called it a 0-11 shutout of GOP candidates in that county's three largest cities, including the Fort Worth, Arlington, and Mansfield city councils and school boards, plus Keller ISD. The vast majority of those GOP losses were suffered by candidates backed by Patriot Mobile, a notorious DFW area virtual network operator and mobile phone service provider that gives a portion of its profits to conservative causes and candidates. All of their picks lost. Notably, Tammy Nakamura, who had also been backed by the True Texas Project, an anti-government group flagged by the Southern Poverty Law Center. Nakamura lost her bid for re-election to the Grapevine-Colleyville School Board to Matt Faust. Former Tarrant County Democratic Party Chair Deborah Peoples won outright from a field of 6 candidates a seat on Fort Worth City Council, while MAGA wannabe Julie Short, who had been roundly criticized for having enlisted outside right-wing money in her bid to unseat Mansfield Mayor Michael Evans, fell well short of that goal, if you'll pardon the pun. A pattern emerged not only in DFW, but statewide, in which school board members and candidates who had taken part in the MAGA trend of banning books found themselves losing the favor of voters. In the Houston area, Katy School Board candidate James Cross, a longtime local educator who will soon have a district elementary school named after him, defeated incumbent Katy ISD board president Victor Perez, who's not only been big on banning books, he's also pushed policies that required teachers and administrators to report students who identify as transgender to their parents. Perez is out. The San Antonio mayoral race was expected to result in a runoff, and it did. Of the 27 candidates, in that race, former Undersecretary of the U.S. Air Force and longtime Democratic notable Gina Ortiz-Jones drew a bit over 27% of the vote, while Republican Rolando Pablos, former Texas Secretary of State under Governor Abbott, reigned in just under 17%. Look for a spirited partisan runoff phase in Alamo City over the next few weeks. That runoff is in just over a month on June the 7th. Wouldn't surprise me to see bigger turnout for the runoff than the initial election got on Saturday. It saw historically low turnout of less than 10%, potentially due to the annual Fiesta celebrations happening at the same time in San Antonio, or perhaps, again, due to the likelihood of a runoff happening anyway. We'll have a lot to talk about tomorrow night with Mayor Ron Nirenberg in San Antonio. More about our Party for Progress coming up in just a moment. The smaller towns, too. I attended a picnic yesterday in Lakeway, just outside of Austin, hosted by the Lake Travis Democrats, for that unfamiliar but highly enjoyable vibe of success was very much in the air, as the Lake Travis School Board added 2 Democrats, making 4 on that board for the first time in about a quarter century. The signs for the defeated Republican candidates are still littered all over that town, some obviously transphobic, and it's great to see candidates dealing in MAGA ugly take a loss. To those folks, we say the election is over and your gross signs are now not only trashed, they're litter. Great work done by Michelle Davis at Lone Star Left in election coverage, which she calls MAGA's very bad night in Texas and a statewide rejection of extremism. Michelle gives big credit to the organizing efforts of the Tarrant County Young Democrats who, quote, didn't just show up. They organized, knocked on doors, made calls, and fought for every single school board seat they were targeting. And guess what? They swept them all. That's the kind of ground game that wins elections. That's the kind of energy we need to keep building, unquote, and hell yes. Michelle also notes major Democratic strides in supposedly red Collin County, home of Ken Paxton. The Collin County Democratic Party lists 16 wins, including a new mayor in Richardson. Democrat and former city council member Amir Omar unseated incumbent Republican Bob Doobie. Local elections matter and, in fact, have a greater impact on our daily lives than anything happening at the state and federal level. But we must note that all of this is happening as all kinds of ugly is coming out of the Texas legislature and as Donald Trump's ratings on his first 100 days are at historic lows. All of this progressive success is great and we should enjoy it, but we should also view it pragmatically as a sign that the tide is turning. But this is going to be a long fight, almost permanent in nature. We've seen that solid, smart action on the ground matters and works. At this point, progressives and Democrats need to savor and remember these wins and work even harder for the goal of wins in November of 2026, when we'll have a chance to put a real check on Donald Trump. That is a battle we cannot afford to lose. Time to take these wins and scale them up to new heights. Congratulations, everybody, including the candidates, the activists, and especially the voters. San Antonio and Austin friends, Progress Texas is proud to welcome San Antonio Mayor Ron Nirenberg, as I mentioned, as our guest for a live podcast taping at our Party for Progress coming up tomorrow night, Tuesday, May 6th, and you're invited. We look forward to a long overdue visit to Alamo City for a live pod taping with Mayor Ron Nirenberg and good fun with you in San Antonio. See the show notes and get your tickets right now. Huge thanks to Austin Kaplan and the Kaplan Law Firm, Nicolette Ardiente, Shannon Hearnseer, Will Judy, Tracy Miller, Jeremy Nelson, Julianne Reeves, Patricia Smothers, Holly Taylor, and more for their generous support of our San Antonio Party for Progress. And DFW and North Texas friends, please mark your calendars for Monday, June the 9th. That's our 15th anniversary celebration, which will be happening in Dallas. Look forward to seeing y'all up there as well. Our mission at Progress Texas is to counter the conservative disinformation machine, but they far outmatch us in funding. Oil and tech billionaires and religious right-wing activist groups spend a lot of money keeping their audiences in the dark. If you've come to appreciate the light that we shine on important political news in Texas on a daily, ongoing basis, please know that our regular, everyday listeners form a key component of our funding. And if that's you, we could use your support as a monthly contributor, and no amount is too small. Go to progresstexas.org/donate. Thanks to Thomas Green, Darby Lockridge, and Jeffrey Snyder, all of whom are on the team. We appreciate all of you very much. While you're at the website, make sure and hit our web store to grab the merch to match your progressive values. Y'all means all, Revolution, and our most popular Humans Against Ted Cruz t-shirts, all union printed right here in Texas, waiting for you there, alongside awesome stickers and more, all at progresstexas.org. That's the Progress Texas Daily Dispatch for this Monday, May the 5th, 2025. Links to all these original stories can be found in our show notes. Progress Texas is a nonprofit, rapid response media organization promoting progressive messages and actions. While campaigns come and go, we're the permanent home for progressive media and action in the Lone Star State. I'm Chris Mosier. Thanks so much for listening. Happy Cinco de Mayo. Have a great day and a great week, and we'll see you again tomorrow morning.